Can you hear me okay? Excellent. You all look very nice this morning. Okay, who's going to be my giver of mandala? Let's have Svetlana do the mandala, please.
Sashi Paki Jukshin mi Doctram, Rira Blingshin in the Genpadi, Sangeshing Domikte Ulvargi, Drakun Namdakshin Glachupar Shok, Idam Gururatna Mandala Kamniryatayami.
Lydia, if you'll give refuge, please.
Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления, силой добра, которое я творю, участием на этом занятии и прочем, пусть мы достигнем просветления во благо каждого живого существа. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления, силой добра, которое я творю, даянием, участием в этом занятии и прочем, пусть мы достигнем просветления во благо каждого живого существа. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления, силой добра, которое мы творим, даянием, участием в этом занятии и прочем, пусть мы достигнем просветления во благо каждого живого существа.
Thank you. Well, the second Anna has left the room. There she is. Hi. Welcome to the class. We do something we call sharing or rejoicing. So let's have Svetlana start the rejoicing.
Yeah, my rejoicing today is like that today in the morning I woke up and instead of like contemplating that my dreams are not coming true and it's it and they want some other kind of reality, I told myself in my inner voice somehow like it's my karma so and decided to go to the office to work and etc. so I can at least do something and when there were situations I was getting irritated after my boss asked me to do something, I went to the restroom, calm myself down and tried to perform whatever he wanted after that. And even after work, I stayed a little bit later to do the task the best way possible. So instead of circling negativities, I was trying to serve the best way to make the reality better and dedicated that I can reach enlightenment for the sake of everyone.
There you go. That's the rest of your life right there. You just laid out your game plan. So good. Keep it up. And you were early to work? You weren't late?
8:52, something like this, 50 something.
All right. All right. Well, I'm proud of you. Now keep it up. Keep the habit going, and you're going to see remarkable things come into your world. That's what Geshe always says. He says, if you do this, see, the thing is, we do all this and something doesn't happen and we think, oh, it didn't work. Well, look at it a different way. If you hadn't done what you did, what would your world be like now? I always look at it that way. And when I think of all the effort I'm trying to do to get peace in the world, and I think, oh, my wife and I talk about it, we think, oh, it's not working. We look at each other and say, but what would it have been like if we hadn't done that? So, okay, let's go. Daria, what do you have to rejoice in?
Good morning, Venerable Lama Sumati. I rejoice. I do Tonglen every day, but this week I hear about Tonglen and how it's work every day. I don't know why, but Geshe Darjedam do said about Tonglen how it's work, And some teacher said housework. I think it's amazing. But I don't ask, but I'm very happy.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad to see that you're happy. Okay, translator, Shinar, what do you have to be rejoiceful about?
Спрашивает. Hello, Venerable Sumati. Hello, everyone. I am rejoicing that I went to exercise with my husband today, and he's my karmic partner.
Very good. I can't hear you.
I'm just I was interpreting what
Oh.
I just said.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm rejoicing for that. I'm planting seeds of health for all the living being.
Good. Were you doing yoga or were you out running?
We just went to the gym. I've been on a treadmill, and my husband went on a bicycle. We've been wearing the weighted vests. Like it's like gets more strength instead of just walking.
Wow.
So.
My bike is supposed to come on Monday. So I'm anxiously awaiting the arrival of my new exercise tool. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, next is Anna, the new Anna. What do you have to rejoice in?
Which one?
You.
Me? Well, at first I'm super lucky to be here. It took me a couple of weeks to get through all the assistance and the tech support because for some reason the Zoom link wasn't working for me. And I tried. Yeah, and that's the best choice that I ended up here finally.
Where are you located? Are you in Russia?
I am, yeah. I live in St. Petersburg.
Oh, okay.
And right now I'm planning a retreat to Armenia with Venerable Gyaltse.
No. Okay.
Well, the next week I'm leaving.
Oh, good.
And I have a lot of field to rejoice because I have two little kids. One is 8 and one is 3 years old. And just to be able to practice with two little kids, I think it's a miracle. And I heard that you're planning a retreat in Armenia also in August, Gandan Klagyama.
Yeah.
And today is my 109th day.
Of doing?
Of doing Gandan Klagyama.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Good for you. Where's your retreat with Gyaltse?
In Armenia.
No, but where in Armenia?
Dilijan.
Oh.
I've never been there.
The same place we did our retreat last year.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's a beautiful facility. So, good luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, Lydia, what do you have to rejoice in?
Hello, Devama Sumati. I'm rejoicing that I'm becoming stronger than coffee. It works. And every day I take one small cappuccino with a half of shot of espresso. So they I don't know what they think about it. It's strange. I think nobody does like that. But I ask them to give me half of a shot. And from tomorrow, I will start to drink decaf. So I think it's good for me.
Well, keep it up. Keep working on it. That's wonderful. I don't have any food. Well, I don't want to say addictions, but habits. I mean, I'll eat practically anything, but I admire people who can take something like that and make it work. So keep up the good work. Okay. Anna, number two, well, and a number one, because I knew you first. Okay, what do you have to rejoice in?
Hello, dear Lama Sumati. Hello, everyone. Hello, dear Sangha. I want to rejoice about my mental afflictions. They popped up unexpectedly, and I'm glad that my negative seeds are opened for now, and I hope I will survive in all these stories. I sure I will. And one more, I want to share my friends. They organized it's like a charity fund, and they provide some events for lonely people, for people from nursing homes. If somebody has lonely neighbors, maybe also these people can be invited to these events, and they provide events like to go to cinema together or to go to picnic in the park. It's not expensive without a lot of money, but they more focus on warm relations between people, friendship, to make new contacts in different age, in different situation. So I really very glad to see such projects around me. Thank you.
Good, good. And number two, I didn't mean to be so short with your rejoicing. But yeah, trying to practice with two young children, that's got to be a challenge. So, but keep it up, keep trying, keep working on it. It's a very powerful practice. You have two karmic objects, powerful karmic objects, plus your husband, and their challenge is simply helping you work on your efforts to succeed and become enlightened in this lifetime. So keep up the good work. I'm sorry you had trouble getting into the class. That must be frustrating. Okay. Katrina, are you back in Russia or are you still in Dharamsala?
Hello, dear Lama Sumati. We left yesterday. Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow, to Delhi, and early in the Saturday I will be in Moscow.
So it's been a good trip?
Yes, I'm so happy that I решилась. Maybe I stay in Russian. It will be easier.
Sure.
I'm happy that I made a decision to do this trip. Thank you so much for your support and Lama Sarani's support. And I'm happy
Могло бы быть, не случились, потому что у людей были разные препятствия, и приехать сюда, и здесь.
Everyone has their own obstacles, but
у кого-то были проблемы с пищеварением и с утомлением, и это была возможность для поддержки.
It was opportunity to practice.
У меня были какие-то другого рода препятствия, и этого не случилось.
I had different type of obstacles, but I still made a decision to make this trip. And my relatives wouldn't have to worry about my health. And I was happy to meet some amazing people, such a great model, like of example. And I was able to meet someone who has been organizing projects to support monks. in the way it was organized for us, it was just an example of and I'm very happy. And I wish everyone have an opportunity to meet the teachers and teachings.
Good. Excellent. Well, safe journeys to Moscow. And we'll see you we'll see you in Moscow on, what's today? Today's Thursday. On Monday. So great. Okay, what do I have to rejoice in? Well, first, I rejoice in having all of you as my students. It's wonderful to see you all twice a week and watch your progress and your challenges. I decided to I told my wife, I promised my wife, well, yeah, I guess I did. Well, I don't know if I really promised her. It's kind of a husband-wife kind of promise thing that you don't really promise, but you do kind of promise. That I would stop working on missile stuff and get back into the Dharma full time. Well, it turns out that one niggling problem I had solved, I decided to try one more time to solve. So I'm rejoicing because I really enjoy researching and trying to solve problems. And to take this one on again is, it just really fills me with joy, which sounds probably pretty strange, but I'm doing what I love to do. I love to teach, and I love to do this research. So we won't tell my wife. Well, I'll tell her, but anyway. Other than that, we're working with an quantum energy device that my wife decided to purchase. And yesterday, actually on Sunday, I was making some, what was I making? Coffee cake. And I think I smelled cinnamon. I think I did. Now, whether it was up here or actually smelled it, I'm not sure. And number two, I have Parkinson's disease and I don't smell or taste anything. So it may be that these treatments are starting to counteract that. So I'm hoping that as we do further treatments, that it actually does restore my taste. That would be close to a miracle and be wonderful. So I'm optimistic. And if it doesn't happen today, it may happen tomorrow. So, okay, let's get started with class. Let's see where we are. We're on the Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life, Part 3, Class 6, Emptiness of the Parts. Now, before we do that, I wanted to go over something with you that I had a little talk with the Oracle, my wife, and I had a discussion several days ago. And I finally think I understand what's been bugging me about mind only versus middle way. So I'm going to try and run through that with you before we get into the regular part of the class. So, where mind only and middle way differ is the fact that the mind only says there's a kunshi, a storehouse consciousness, where your karmic seeds are stored while they're being influenced toward their ripening. So mind only thinks there are these finite things called karmic seeds, and they need a storehouse in your mind. This is because karmic seeds, being functioning things, have some existence which needs a place to stay. They're not self-existent because they depend on other things. Mind only would add that the middle way says the seeds have no nature of their own, which implies they do not exist. Mind only just doesn't let us finish the sentence. Middle Way says that karmic seeds are not subtly existing things which need a place to stay. They are potentials which flow along with my mind stream. The mind streams have a moment-to-moment changing awareness driven by the ripening seeds, planting experiences in our life. It's not a thing that that holds other things. So that makes great sense to me. I don't know if it makes any sense to you, but it makes great sense to me. It allows me to understand the difference between mind. Mind only says what you see, and having the eyeball to see something is all part of one karmic seed. And we agree with that. For a while I couldn't understand why we agreed with that. And then I stopped to realize what that's saying is we have the karma to have the shapes and colors that our eye sends to the mind, and the mind interprets and puts the image on the parts. And that's all coming from the same karmic seed. So we agree with them on that. What we don't agree with is that there's this storehouse where the seeds stay and wait to be ripened. And the Middle Way says, no, it's in the mind stream. The mind stream isn't a place to store stuff. It's an active, ever-moving, ever-changing thing. So that's the main difference, this idea of a storehouse. Other than that, we're pretty happy with much of the mind-only thought process. Okay, I just wanted to share that with you. So, now, this is a little difficult, this exercise is a little difficult to do in a short time, but we're going to try it. So this isn't a meditation, this is a contemplation, so you don't have to go through the preliminaries. Look at a pen, so, well, we can look at my pen, I guess. So here's the pen. Look at the pen in the ordinary worldly way. Now pretend you're an infant and you don't know yet what a pen is. So what you're seeing is a color and shape, but it doesn't have an identity. Now think of it as a pen. This is probably best to do with your eyes closed, but I'm trying to get the idea, and you can try this after class. Now pen, now see color and shape. Now see pen. Now pretend you're an infant who doesn't know what a pen is. Now back to pen. So, in theory, with a decent meditative skill or observational skill, we can turn off whether we see it as a pen or as an infant or as a dog or whatever. So what does that say about where it's coming from? It proves the penness is coming from us because we can change how we see this penness. So if it's coming from it, we couldn't do that, but we can, even very briefly or not very well. We have learned that the pen is only a mental image imposed on the colors and shapes by my mind. And we have to remember that the colors and shapes are not out there self-existently. And this is, as you know, this is something I have trouble wrapping my head around. But when your karma ripens to have colors and shapes out there which are sent by our eyes to our mind, and the mind organizes that into whatever karmic seed is ripening at that moment. Now, I would debate, if I could, that the colors and shapes are out there looking like a like a pot or a pen. I would argue that when your karma ripens, the raw data ripens with you and is organized into whatever the karmic seed is going to ripen into. So there's no, I don't think there's a circular thing and a black linear thing out there in the data. I'm not saying Geshe is wrong. I'm saying this is my interpretation. There's raw data out there that you can assemble into whatever that karmic seed is that's ripening. My mind stream includes the karma that have color and shape for karmic seeds to organize into my life. According to the highest school, Madhyamika Prasangika, the sum of all the data, the parts of the object, do not make the object. The concept in your mind which is applied to these parts, oh, I'm sorry, my voice recognition, is what makes the object. My voice recognition takes a deep breath and prints it as fifth. So I apologize for that. In name only, imputed, nominally, all are synonyms for this idea of the concept your mind imposes on the data. What makes the concept? What makes you think of raw data in a certain way, as a pen instead of a chew toy? Your past mental imprints, karma made by the deeds you have thought and seen yourself do in the past. By changing these mental imprints, through changing our current behaviors, we can in the future make the concept of bliss. We just don't have the karma now to do that, but there's no reason we can't. And you say, well, why not? Why would we be able to? Well, because we know how to generate karmic deeds, karmic action. It's a matter of getting pure enough so we can generate the karmic seed to see emptiness directly. We're generating the seeds all the time. That's not the issue. The issue is to generate the right ones. We can make the concept of a world without impure birth, aging, sickness, and death for oneself and others. We just have to learn how to do it. And that's the entire point of Buddhism. When we say our minds are labeling the data as pen or pot or whatever, we're not talking about the word for the sound, etc. We're talking about the concept pen. By changing these mental imprints, changing our current behaviors, we can in the future make the concepts of bliss. So my past is my present is my future. They couldn't be more clear to me. I don't know what I did in the past, but I do know what I'm doing in the present. And I'm trying my hardest to make the seeds necessary to do the karmic things necessary, to plant the seeds necessary for me to see emptiness directly and become an enlightened being. We can make the concept of a world without impure birth, aging, sickness, death for oneself and others. We just have to learn how to do it. When we say our minds are labeling the data as pen or pot or Sumati, we're We're not talking about the word, etc. We're referring to the concept, pen. We say the human sees a pen and a dog sees a chew toy. It implies that the data is out there self-existently, which we know is absurd. What about the raw data? Is it really there, or does the same mental process apply to the raw data as well? Throughout these courses, we've often used the example of the yelling boss to explain emptiness. The same data, the red face, the loud noise, could be interpreted as unpleasant by me, as neutral by another, or as pleasant by someone who wants me to get fired. We accepted that whether or not the boss was good or bad was coming from our own side, not from the boss's. We never go the next step. Is the boss herself really existing? Does she have any nature that comes from her side? The raw data for a person is even that a projection? Has to be. Otherwise we're implying it's self-existent, which we know it cannot be. This is what my notes say is called the big emptiness, the emptiness of you. The first emptiness you see during the direct perception of emptiness is the emptiness of yourself. There are two broad categories of stuff that makes up your mind and your body. More specifically, we can break it into the five heaps. Sumati's mind and Sumati's body, the two parts that are being thought of as David Stump, my given name. There are two different ways we can look at the same thing and see radically different things. First, we have to remember the raw data is empty of self-nature. Everybody's identity depends on one's karma at every level. At this point, Master Shantideva has already proved to us that the whole is not self-existent. Now we go on to a section of chapter 9 on the emptiness of parts. Me as a whole is empty. That's why I can become an enlightened being.
Я как целый пуст, поэтому я могу стать просветленным существом.
I do not see myself that way yet because I have so much mixed positive and negative karma, which is why I'm still projecting in samsara and forced by my karma for the ups and downs in my life. Don't we then wonder, are the colors and shapes the same, the sounds, the forms, all of which is the data just a projection? Are they self-existent? We wonder that. I still wonder. I still resist about that. Could someone else see this data and not label it a cylinder or a silver color validly? Analyzing the emptiness of the parts intellectually is what will get us to the experience of emptiness of ourself as a whole. So I must work on understanding the emptiness of my parts. We think of our body as being made up of these parts. So they're self-existently making up this not self-existent body, which is absurd. So there are two aspects of my emptiness we need to think about. A lack of self-existent self-nature to me as a whole, a me that could exist independent of my projections, a mental picture of myself forced by my karma. Well, that's not supposed to be there. That isn't either. There we are. You're aware of yourself because you're looking at the sum of parts and conceiving it, having the concept of it as me. I am forced to see human because of past mental imprints. If you then focus on your parts, is this the lack of self-existent nature to anything, referring to my parts? Your mind, your body, all of your parts, all objects do have emptiness, but that is not what we're talking about here. We're going down through the layers like an onion. As we cut through each of the layer, thinking are they self-existent, once we get to the center, what's there? Atoms. Are atoms self-existent? We're taught in the Western, I shouldn't say Western, I'll say Western society. We're taught that the smallest thing you can divide an element into is an atom. That's the smallest thing that makes up an element. An element of iron, an atom of iron is the smallest part of the element of iron. But an atom isn't the smallest. An atom's made of protons, neutrons, and electrons and other particles. So an atom can be broken into parts. And it turns out the subatomic particles can be broken into parts. So no matter how far you go, there's always another layer. So at some point, you just, and I dislike having to settle for this. But sometimes in Buddhism, you have to put something on the back burner. And so the back burner for me is wrestling with how I assemble the data with my projections. All of us agree that if you hit your head on a piece of cement, that the cement is hard and it hurts. There must be some objective reality or self-existent hardness or something to that cement so that made it hard, right? Atoms are made of parts, and any particular atom exists in dependence on its part. Therefore, it is not self-existent, and doesn't become an atom until my mind takes the data it receives and imposes atom. What makes the cement hard? Our karma. And it's my karma, our karma makes cement hard, so I, as a human, can't strike it without hurting myself. Now a terroristic bomb, which is what it's called for bombs that are designed to basically fly in the soil, maneuver in the soil. And such things exist. A terroristic bomb goes through concrete like it's butter. So I have the karma to see something go through concrete as if it's butter. I have the karma to see concrete be hard, so I can't go through it like butter. So where's the hardness of the cement coming from? My karma. The karma atoms in pencil lead and the karma atoms in a diamond are the same. They're just rearranged slightly differently, which is due to our karma. We can get lost in this. You can end up at the conclusion there's nothing there, so nothing matters. Your mind stream, well, we'll talk about the emptiness of your mind. Your mind stream is a collection of instants of awareness. Lord Buddha states the present moment awareness is the smallest building block of the mind. Now that's interesting. I got this out of the transcript from Geshe. This seems to me to say that there is a singularly smallest building block of the mind. Does the moment of present consciousness exist independently? Each moment of present consciousness can be split into parts. The beginning of the present moment, the middle of the present moment, and the end of the present moment. If something exists independent upon something else, it cannot be self-existent. So during a moment of present consciousness, can it exist independently? Each moment of present consciousness can be split into parts. The beginning of the present moment, the middle of the present moment, and the last part of the present moment. You can show that the mind has absolutely no self-existent building blocks. We can make the concept of a world without impure birth, aging, sickness, and death for ourselves and others. We just have to learn how to do it. As I said earlier, this is the entire point of Buddhism. As I said earlier, when we say our minds are labeling the data as pen or pot or Sumati, we're not talking about the word for the sound. We're talking about referring to the concept pen. You have to start thinking of your world as concepts. In name only, imputed, nominally, all these are synonyms for the idea of the concept your mind imposes on the data. So where does the raw data come from? I wish I could answer this more satisfactorily for me to you. All objects in our world can be established as existing through that reasoned perception that thinks of them in a certain way without analyzing their ultimate nature. That's what I've got to do. I've got to take this statement and I've got to drill it into my meager brain and work with it. All the objects in our world can be established as existing through that reasonable perception that thinks of them in a certain way without analyzing their ultimate nature. For me to function in this world, I don't need to know how the raw data is out there, waiting to be assembled. It is. It's waiting to be assembled because that's how karma works. But I don't like being told I can't figure it out. There's this stubborn part of me that is challenged by someone saying, don't keep looking, you're never going to find the answer. Just let it be. The simple, unexamined raw data are there, they do exist, they do function just fine. But if you want to stop yours and others' suffering, you must analyze the existence of things. Which will come up with how your behavior in the present creates the circumstances for your future. What you come up with is that all the other worldviews just perpetuate the misconception. None of them can create a perfect world. But a perfect world can be created by creating the causes for it. The depth of your understanding of emptiness determines your ability to do the behaviors that will create your perfect world. If you believe in karma and emptiness, and if you didn't, you wouldn't be here. If you believe in karma and emptiness, then you understand that your action, your thoughts, words, and deeds are what are driving your future world. And if you firmly, really, honestly believe that, you will be doing only the right things to generate the karma to see that world you want in the future. Now, once you're introduced to this, as you all have been, you're, as I say, you're doomed. You're doomed because you know now what you need to do to get to become totally enlightened. It's just now a matter of hard work. It's not physical work, it's mental work. Really trying to understand emptiness in a way that satisfies your needs for everyday life. I'm going to try over the next several weeks to not worry about how the data is out there, but focus my attention on what I need to do to make a better world. And who was I talking to about this? Oh, a student of mine that just got ordained. If any of you know Rashna, she just got ordained. Her name is, I think, Lobsang Drupa. Anyway, well, I lost my train of thought. Well, let's see if I can get it back. The mind itself is a concept, a projection based upon a collection of present moments. Each one is different. Since birth, that mind is forced by past karma to project the concept mind into those moments. That is why I have a mind. Where is the raw data? Moments of present consciousness, each of them can be split into parts, the beginning, the middle, and the end of the present moment. Even the mind does not have self-existent building blocks. All the objects in your world can be established as existing through that reasonable perception that thinks of them in certain ways without their ultimate nature. Master Shantideva's opponents follow this argument. They finally say, well, if there's no person as a whole, and no person's parts, such as mind and body, and there are no persons towards whom we can act, therefore it doesn't matter if we have compassion or do good deeds. Master Shantideva says, it's not that persons as a whole don't exist. It's not that their bodies and minds don't exist. That none of these things exist independent of my projections forced by my karma. It's not that persons as a whole don't exist. It's not that their bodies and minds don't exist. It's that none of these things exist independent of my projections forced on me by my karma. Wanting to change this suffering world requires compassion. There's compassion that focuses on people's parts. This level person already understands there's no self-existent soul running the show. People are changing moment to moment, so they know that people are not in control of themselves conventionally. They focus on a person and are able to see them as projection of their onto parts. By changing your projections, you stop your suffering, going from doing bad deeds to only good deeds. Then there's the compassion which focuses on nothing, meaning you focus on another person but see nothing at all that they seem to be. That is, you see they're nothing independent of your projection, but see they have no atoms or moments of consciousness that exist apart from your projection. This is a hard one for me to wrap my head around. How do I interact with a karmic object that's generating its own karma? Except I'm generating, you generating your own karma. That I haven't. That's another conundrum. I used to think it was two people had a karmic bubble, and the bubble where the karmic bubbles touched was their interaction, but that's farcical. The compassion that comes, this is the compassion that comes out of the highest worldview. This compassion rejects other worldviews that perpetuate the misconception of self-existence. Then the compassion which focuses on plain old people conventionally. This is the lowest form of compassion. You feel sorry for people. You give them food and shelter. But that does not address the root of the problem. To give them food only solves today's hunger. And that's an interesting statement. To give them food only solves today's hunger. I can pretty safely say I've never been the kind of hungry that shall eat practically anything. So I don't know. To say that give them food only solves today's hunger. The point is, it's like, what was that thing with Christ? You can give someone, I think it's talking about fish. You can give somebody fish, or you can teach them how to catch fish. The root of suffering is a misconception is you must get what you want for yourself, which leads to wrong morality. The worldview of karma and emptiness says people are hungry because they were stingy before, because they did not feed others beforehand. They took what they needed and left the scraps for others. Finally, Master Shantideva says, okay, we accept all you have said, but is it really possible to reach nirvana? They're fixated on nirvana. Master Shantideva says, of course, we can all get to nirvana, because the truth stands on two legs, karma and emptiness, and the lie, the concept of self-existence, stands on one. The last question on the Geshe debate is, does samsara have an end? This is traditionally the last question. Yes, because the truth is more powerful than the misconception. Now when my samsara ends, does your samsara end? I can't project your samsara. I can project my samsara. I can project you being in my samsara and being happy. But what are you in your samsara? Or is it the fact that to be human means we share samsaras? How do we share samsaras? These are all questions that make me crazy. Because I'm trying to make a model of existence. And the model of existence accepts that we have the concept of karma, and karma ripening, karma moving along the mind stream. But how does my world interact with Lydia or Anna's or Shinar's or Ekaterina? Darya or Svetlana? How does my samsaric world interact with yours? I just don't know. But I can either wallow in not knowing, or I can say, if I want to reach enlightenment, if I want to get the merit to reach enlightenment, the virtue to reach enlightenment, I need to help others get there. And irrespective of how I understand how our samsaric worlds work, I have a job to do, and I need to get on doing it and not divert myself into contemplating things that I'll never find an answer to. It's not that the answer is not there, it's that the answer it's one step ahead of me. When I look past an atom and I see a proton, I go, okay, well, that proton's the lowest common denominator. Well, the proton has sides, so it has parts. So what does it help me realizing atoms have parts? That's what I struggle with. It's a happy struggle. I think we tend to use the word struggle to imply a difficulty. This stuff's pretty complicated, so don't be surprised if it doesn't make a lot of sense. I do want to make sure you're doing the readings along with the lectures. There's a lot we can't cover in the lectures. So I think that's, let me see. Nope, that's the end of the slides. Okay, I'll stop sharing. So, take a deep breath, realize you have this somewhat mind-boggling concepts to understand. And just pledge to yourself you're going to hang in there and keep on it and try and make it make sense. So, dedication. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach enlightenment, full enlightenment. Filled with wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening, for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain, to dispel the miseries of the world. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. Okay. Now, is there anything more? I think that's it. You look all a little stunned. I'm sorry. This material is not simple material, but try and do what I've done, which is try very hard to not go down the rabbit hole of finding what really is going on with the raw data, because that won't help you. It hasn't helped me in the bigger picture of things. I need to focus my attention on what I do every minute. And I had an interesting thing happen a couple of days ago. And this was, I think I can share this with you. I think you'll understand. I said to my wife, I want to get a cover for my new quadricycle because it's going to be under the porch, and in the summer rains, they can get soaked wet. I was going to put it in my workshop, but she axed that idea. So her first response was, no, that's just another excuse for you not to write it. And the minute she said that, I thought, well, that's not a very nice thing to say. And I thought about it for several hours. And I thought, how can I approach my wife in the oracle and bring up the subject that she just made a karmic seed that she's not going to want. So I was doing the dishes, well, I was putting away the dishes, and I said, why would you think such a hurtful thing that I'm trying to figure out how not to ride this equipment? What would make you think that? And she apologized. What I wanted to say, and I did by implication, why would you set the karmic seed with that tone of voice and that thought? She could have said, no, we don't need to get a cover. It's just a bike. It doesn't matter if it gets wet. My answer to that would be, well, I think it does matter and I'm going to get a cover. Now I looked into getting a cover, and the cover the company sells is $500. That's absurd. So, for $15 I can buy a tarp and some bungee cords, and I can make my own cover. So my point of this story is, think really carefully when you need to respond to someone in a, I don't want to say in a disagreeing, when you disagree with somebody. Think really carefully the words you're going to use. You can either be nice about it or you can be brisk. Now, I'll give you a hint for a 50-year marriage. Don't say, I've never talked to you like that. That's the kiss of death. Okay, well, I think that's it. We'll see all of you on Monday. What's going on Monday? Oh, my bike's coming on Monday. That's pretty exciting. We'll see some of you for Tara tomorrow. That's going to be at noon after class. Sorry it's going to be so late for you guys, but that's the way time flies. Okay. I love you all. Thank you for working hard on these classes. And we'll see most of you tomorrow. Oh, who's that? Huh. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. That's who is that? That's a younger daughter? No, that's
The oldest.
Yeah.
The oldest.
What's
The
her
oldest
name?
one.
What's her name?
Agatha.
Agatha.
Yeah, like Agatha Christie.
Agatha.
Agatha.
Agatha. Oh, quiet. Okay. Psst. Just Agatha Christie's name. Sherlock Holmes.
I'm sorry, it's a mess here. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, everybody. I like to see you all laugh. I don't even care if it's at my expense. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Holy Lama. Please stay always forever.
Thank you so much. Please stay.